Hey everyone! So in class you have been talking about all the different types of rapid changes. We've looked at earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, landslides, volcanoes, and today we're actually going to narrow some of our focus and look at how earthquakes can impact the Earth's surface. So prior to this, you should have created some questions with your class of different things about earthquakes that you might want to explore, and we've narrowed it down to 2 questions. So we're going to set up and take. So we're back. The first of our questions that we are taking a look at is how the size of an earthquake affects the amount of change or damage to the Earth's surface. So this is my Earth's surface. It is just a plastic shoebox, and I put some canned goods in here to kind of weight it down. Put the lid on it and flipped it over, covered it up with a sheet of construction paper. And then I have some graham stackers that I am using to represent my buildings. And I'm going to set those on there. And I traced around them so that I could see where they are starting. So we can kind of measure some of our change. And then I'm going to add some rice in between our buildings. And we're going to use our craft stick here to kind of narrow, keep everything in an orderly place. That way we know where everything is. And just so I have a frame of reference, I'm going to take my pencil and trace around the perimeter of my shape. Okay, so that goes around the perimeter of my rice. That way I will know if anything travels outside, that's damage that was done to the surface. So next I have just a ruler, and I'm going to use this, so we're measuring the size of an earthquake. Okay, so as of right now, if you need to pause so that you can sketch a diagram, feel free to pause. And we want to take a moment to think about how we could determine the size of an earthquake. All right, so for me to measure the size, I'm going to use my wooden ruler here to tap on the side. I'm just going to tap on the same side of the container at 2 different intensities. So the first time I'm going to just tap kind of soft, and I'm going to do this for 15 seconds, and then we'll pause, we'll reset everything, and be sure to make some notes and observations. All right, so we're going to tap right here on the middle, and you can see it's on the edge of the screen. Okay, so we're going to tap for 15 seconds, kind of softly at a low intensity. All right, so taking a look, I can see some evidence of change. Pause and make a diagram to show what you see at this moment in time. Okay. All right, I'm going to reset all my pieces back in there. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to do 15 seconds at a harder intensity. So the size of my earthquake, this is a more damaging earthquake. Should be. We'll find out what happens. Ready? Let's go. Okay. And so now we can see what evidence of change do we have. You can see here my yellow brick is not inside of its little shape. It's kind of moved a bit. Same thing with my blues, and these ones are centimeters, or these ones are 1 gram pieces, and they've started leaning over a bit. And then look at my rice. Okay, so record your observations, pause as you need to, and then we are going to get ready for the second set of investigations. Welcome back to the next task investigation for our earthquakes. So for this one, our question is, how does the location of an earthquake affect the amount of change or damage to Earth's surface? So I've got the exact same materials, and I went ahead and already set up my standard. So it starts out just the same as our size of the earthquake did. But this time we're changing the location of our earthquake. So we need to kind of think about some things. For this one, we need to keep the same intensity. I really liked how the stronger intensity showed more change. So I think I'm going to keep that harder intensity. But now we've got to think about two locations. So we're going to think about two different locations where we could do this. We can do the side as we did before, and then maybe we could do this end. I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit. I'm going to do this end over here by the blue piece, by the blue graham stackers, so that we can see how the location impacts it. So our first test is going to be 15 seconds here in the middle on the side, using that higher intensity, that heavier beating, so that we can see a little bit more of that change. Okay, so here is our start. We're ready. Let's go. Okay. So after counting to 15, and it probably wasn't 15 full seconds, because I was counting to 15 in my head, but I can see there was some pretty good damage here. My blue graham stackers shifted a little bit over. My yellow graham stackers shifted a little bit over. Let me scoot this back over so you can kind of see. And then look at all of my rice. It moved a lot. So we're going to reset. I'll fix that. Pause the video so that you can create a diagram, sketch out what you see here. So you can notice your, jot down your observations. Okay, now I am resetting all of our pieces, so I want my rice to get all back inside of that perimeter. Get in there, rice. Get in there. Okay. All right, so the first time I was tapping over here on the side. This time I'm going to tap on this end over here. So I scooched down so that you can actually see it underneath the camera. We need to get those blue pieces kind of back to their normal inside of its perimeter, keeping that same intensity, and we're going to count to 15. So ready, let's go. Okay, and so here I see that my blue pieces started shifting towards the end where I was, and I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit, because you can see the yellow actually did the same thing. Okay, see if I can move that camera. There we go. Just a little bit so you can see it. Okay, and then we can see the rice. So go ahead and pause the video and record your observations from this, and be ready to create your posters and designs to share what you have learned about how earthquakes change